Hi, we're back on day 5. So, on day 5 of your 10 days of basics, how are you feeling? You doing good? Everybody's good? Using that diffuser? What has been your favorite diffuser blend so far? You have to tell me. I want to know. Did you try that candy cane recipe from yesterday? Um, Today, another suggestion for your diffusing would be fresh with lavender together. So, lavender actually is very calming, and citrus fresh is a citrus oil. And so, any of the citrus oils are very, they're happy oils. And then, so they elevate your mood. And so, it's hard for you to be happy if you're like super stressed out. So the lavender will calm your stress response, and then the citrus fresh will make you happy. And so put those together. Um, and a fun fact, if you don't like lavender, you may have issues of abandonment. Do you feel abandoned? Our upline, our diamond is Jim Bob Hagerton and Cindy Hagerton. And so Jim Bob was adopted. And so he talks all the time about how he did not like lavender for years and years and years and could not figure it out until he did the aroma freedom technique. And with the aroma freedom technique, it's where you do a specific set of oils in a specific order, and you're just breathing them in. And then the aroma therapist, is taking you through a series of questions in a specific order. And so you can actually go to YouTube and you can look up I believe it's Purser. Um, Dr. Purser is one of the oil gurus and he's fabulous, but he may not be the aroma freedom guy. It may be a different guy. But the aroma freedom technique, you can look that up. There is a book called the Aroma Freedom Technique where you can take yourself through it if you don't want to have anybody else involved on how to process those emotions and how to let go of the hard things that have happened in your life. And so Jim Bob was able to experience that and share his experience. And personally, I was not a fan of lavender either. I don't like lavender by itself, and it may be because so many stores um, have lavender type products. But did you know that in the entire world of all of the lavender farms and all of the lavender crops, there are actually more lavender products than there are crops to support those products? That's crazy. So the lavender in your over the counter products from Bath and Body Works and all that stuff, that's not real lavender. It's lavandin. It's a synthetic. It's not actually helping your body at all. You're just basically putting more toxic stuff into your body, and like all those cell receptor sites, you're clogging them up. So you need the real stuff. You need the real lavender. If you go to seedtoseal.com, you can see how Young Living grows its crops and everything like that. We're the only company that owns its own farms, which is really super cool. I love going to the lavender farms in Mona, Utah. I go every summer whenever we go to convention. I say every summer. I've gone twice for the past 2 years, but it's so cool because like we can talk to the scientists, we can ask them questions, we can talk to the farmers that are working there every single day. We can actually plant some of the lavender and walk up and down some of the fields. They also have their warehouse there. So we can go to the warehouse and talk to the warehouse workers. Did you know that they will not let anyone who is having a really bad day or who is going through an emotional time or is dealing with the loss of work, because they don't want those negative feelings to get into our products? Did you know that that's how the frequencies of our emotions impact the things that we're touching and the people we talk to? Have you ever been around somebody and they were like super angry and you just were like, ugh, and then you like want to leave? That's that frequency of the emotion tied into it. You can see this in the Bible too, about how they'll set up the altars and then it'll talk about how, the stones remember and things like that. It's because that energy is still there. And so that energy is getting in. That's what an oil is. It is the frequency of the plant, it's the lifeblood of the plant. And so when you put that in, it helps change your body's frequency because your body recognizes the plant frequency. The plant cell structure is very similar to a human cell structure, and so they talk to each other. But a synthetic doesn't have the same talking, doesn't speak the same language, so it's not helping your body very much. While we're talking about emotions and things like that, they're on our team on the Lime Time team. You should be in the Lime Time members group if you're on my team. So if you haven't been added to that, you can go search and add yourself to it. You'll need to put in a couple of questions saying what your member number is so that they can verify that you're on the team. But in that group, there's a girl and she's now a diamond as well. Her name is Vanessa Stegner. And so Vanessa is like the emotions queen. Like she is fabulous. But in that group, you can search emotions. And I'll actually, if you're in our Balanced Oilers group, the links are in there as well. But Vanessa has 2 emotions videos, part 1 and part 2. You need to watch those. Like they are so powerful and so eye-opening. It's amazing. I will try to drop a link to some of her YouTube ones, but her YouTube ones are not the full effect. Okay. So some of the stuff she's leaving out and keeping it just for our members. So emotions are huge. They impact everything. Did you know that at a healthy person's frequency level is about 70, 60, 70, 80, up to 90 megahertz? That's your normal. To put that into perspective, fresh vegetables, they're around 20 to 30 megahertz. Canned vegetables are at 0. There's no nutritional value in canned vegetables at all. There's no frequency, there's no energy in it. But oils can range all the way up to like 200, 500 megahertz. It's crazy. Rose is one of the highest with like 230, I think. And Tony actually got me the rose oil for Valentine's Day this year, and it smells amazing. And so whenever I am smelling that, I'm immediately drawn back to my grandma's front porch. And whenever I would come into her house, there's this giant rose bush next to it. And so every time I came in, I was super happy to see her. Those were the best memories of my childhood. And so whenever I smell roses, that's what brings it back. And so in our brains, the emotion center is held in your limbic system, and the sense of smell is the only one that goes straight to your emotion system, that limbic system. So you can smell something and immediately go back to a memory or a place or something like that. And that is why that aroma freedom technique works so well, because it helps you work through those negative memories and help work through them and then eventually build a solid foundation so that you can enjoy your life. Okay. So you can look up, there's a Aroma Freedom Technique book that you can look up. There is a book called Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. I love that book because in the back there are charts. And so you can actually look on your body and you'd be like, I've got some lower back pain today or something like that. I don't know what's going on. You can look at lower back and it'll tell you like 3 or 4 emotions that may be going on that you're feeling and what oils that you can use with it. And then it also tells you when you use those oils, you can put on your back the oil and then you can say, I feel strong and courageous. I am ready to take on my day, or whatever the affirmation is in this book. And so it tells you, it takes all the guesswork out of it. So you don't have to like try to figure it out on your own. So again, those books are Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils and Aroma Freedom Technique. If you're an apps type of person, you can go to the app store and you can actually get an app called, I think it's Healing Feelings, but it could also be Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die. I don't know if you could see that. Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die is a book. And so they actually have the ebook version on the app, which is super awesome. But if you go to symptoms, you can actually type in, like, since we're on back, we could type in lower back and it will tell you what emotions are part of it. I have no idea if my lighting works with this or if you can see this at all. Like, I'm sorry if you can't. But it says if you have lower back problems, you may feel unsupported financially, You may experience fear where money is concerned. You may want to back out of something. You may be in a relationship that hurts, and you may be running away from a situation. So then you would just see which one of those rings true for you. And then you would think through it, process, journal, write it out, talk to somebody, talk to me. I'm here if you want to talk about it. Okay. That's what I'm here for. That's what a wealth coach does, a wellness coach does. Okay. So you need to watch Vanessa's videos. I'm going to tag a couple of them below. Okay. She doesn't have all of the content on her YouTube, but I will put a couple of them in the comments. You need to try diffusing citrus fresh and lavender today. See what you think. Okay. And then I want you to do an emotional check on you. Are you having physical pain in your body? And if so, could it possibly be an emotional response triggering that? Okay. I have yet to find a person whose physical ailment is not triggered by an emotion. For example, fear is held in your kidneys. And before my mom went to Italy, she went to Italy with her students. She's a high school art teacher. She took her students on a field trip to Italy. And this was a couple of years ago, back when there was a lot of terrorist bombings going on. And she was so afraid. And she told me the week before that she was so afraid to go and she was thinking of canceling because she was that fearful. And then that same week, she came down with her first kidney stone, her only kidney stone, and she was able to pass the kidney stone and go on her trip. But fear is held in your kidneys. Anger and hate are held in your liver. So a lot of people that are alcoholics or have alcohol problems, which one came first, the alcoholism or the anger? Hard to separate those, isn't it? So check out your emotions, do an emotions check, okay? Really dig into this. Don't just say, oh, yeah, I'm fine, because as a culture, we do that way too often. Really analyze how you're feeling, okay? And then if you want me to pull out my books and we can talk about, well, your left big toe hurts. Okay, let's figure out what that means. Okay? And we'll work through it together. You can download the app if that would help. There's also an essential oils pocket reference guide. These are on Amazon. They're also on Life Science Publishing, which is really awesome. I like the pocket version. There's also a big version that's like a 9 by 12 or whatever. But there's also a couple of apps that you can get if you don't like carrying around a book. So one of the apps is called Reference Guide for Essential Oils. It's a one-time $7 purchase. Another app would be the Oily app. And so the Oily app looks like this. I think it's a one-time $6 purchase, which has a lot of extra videos and podcasts and things like that in there. And then there's also another one by Jen O'Sullivan. So if you're on YouTube a lot, you can look up Jen O'Sullivan. Jen O'Sullivan is really, really amazing. She uses the French aromatherapy model. The French are the ones that do a lot of ingesting of oils, like cooking with them and everything like that. The English are the ones that they only want it topically. And then the Germans are the ones that actually invented vaping because they love breathing them in. If you are dealing with vaping and things like that, you could actually look up something called the fume pipe, FUM pipe. And it's basically a cotton thing, a cotton pad where you can put them in. Looks like this. Comes in this little thing. It looks like this. And there's a little cotton insert, and you can put your oil in it, and then and if you use peppermint, it will actually help you let go of that nicotine craving and all of that. But what I was saying with the other app is called maybe just essential oils. It looks like this one. There's a tree on it. And so that one is a really good app as well. They're all one-time fees. You don't have to pay a recurring fee for those. But you can look up like focus, and you can click on focus and it'll tell you what oils are suggested for focus. And so it's really cool. Um, so thank you for letting me share some of those resources. I hope it helps you. For your homework, you need to diffuse the citrus fresh and lavender, okay? Or I want you to use your stress away, like you're going into the weekend now, and so use your stress away throughout the weekend. The oils will stay in your body about 3 to 4 hours, so reapply. Carry it around and wear something like perfume. So I want you to take one of your favorite oils that you've found so far, stick it in your purse or put it in your pocket and reapply it about every time you eat. So you can do it at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then right again before bed. I want you to do it throughout this whole weekend. Okay. So do it solid for like 2 or 3 days, and then I want to see how you feel. Okay. So you're going to pick your oil. It could be Stress Away, Peace and Calming, Valor. Those are good options. I actually used frankincense every single day whenever I got started because frankincense is one of the top oils to help support overcoming grief. And so when my kit came in the mail, it was my aunt had just passed away and I was on my way to her funeral. And it's the first time that I was actually able to think enough to support my aunts and my cousins and my grandma because it was her sister. And so I didn't like shut off my emotions and say things that I would never say in a million years and hurt people, which is what I would typically do whenever I grieve. So frankincense is one of the top grief oils. I put it on my forehead right here, and then you can also put it over your heart. Um, it's one of the top emotional oils, best for everything. So those are some of your options that you can bring with you and wear and apply like 3 or 4 times a day. Okay, so I want you to try that. It's going to be a little bit of a homework that's going to take a little bit of time. So you're going to diffuse. You're going to wear one 3 to 4 times a day. And then I want you to grab sometime this weekend a big spray bottle. So you can grab them at the dollar store, Walmart, something like that. But they're like 16, 30-ounce spray bottles. Grab at least one, possibly two. Okay. We're going to open up that thieves packet and we're going to make a spray bottle. I'm going to show you about the cleaning and how to use that and everything. Okay. Okay. So those are your options. You're going to diffuse. You're going to grab a spray bottle. You're going to watch the emotions video and do an emotions check. Okay. And then you're going to wear an oil as a perfume 3, 4 times a day. Sound good? Okay.